Hello, welcome to the first BlueActionBANOS webinar. We can see participants joining now. We will give everyone maybe 2-3 minutes more, right? So everyone can join even if they're a bit late. So please stay with us. We'll start in 2 minutes. So once again, good morning to everyone joining. We are very happy to have you with us today. We are still waiting for more participants to join. We just want to make sure that everyone is there before we start. Okay, I can already see that a question appeared about the recording of the webinar. Yes, the recording will be available after this session today. So you'll be provided with all materials. Okay, it's 11:02, so I think we can start. So as we already said, the meeting will be recorded, so we are notifying you of the fact. And once again, welcome to the webinar. It's the first of our series of BlueActionBANOS webinars. In those webinars, we will aim to provide you with most accurate information about the open calls that have just been launched, about the opportunities those open calls are offering, and about the support you can expect with BlueActionBANOS programs. My name is Maria Karpilowska. I'm a senior project manager with Funding Box Accelerator. Funding Box Accelerator is one of the partners of BlueActionBANOS project, responsible exactly for the management of the open calls. The agenda for today is not too long because in this webinar, our aim is to cover like the basic information you need to know to be able to start the application process with our open call. So first, we'll go through vision and objectives of BlueActionBANOS project in general and mission ocean objectives. Then we'll move on to types of projects and activities that are eligible for financial support under BlueActionBANOS. Then I would like to tell you a few words about the application and evaluation process. So this is a very important point. We want all applicants to understand how to apply. And then, of course, what are the key requirements for successful applications. While we are presenting all this information to you, you can use the Q&A feature to ask your questions. If this feature is not available to you, you can also use the regular chat. And at the end of the presentation, during the Q&A session, we'll try to answer all of your questions. So right now, I'm handing over to Alberto Terenzi, who will present to you the BlueActionBANOS project.
Yes, good morning, Maria, and welcome everyone to our very first webinar from the BlueActionBANOS project. My name is Alberto Terenzi. I work for the Submarina Network for Blue Growth, and I am the coordinator of BlueActionBANOS. And before we dive into the specifics of the calls, I just wanted to give you a quick summary of what BlueActionBANOS is, what the context is in which it is ingrained, and so why we're doing all of this. BlueActionBANOS is a project encompassing 18 project partners from 11 countries from the Baltic Sea and North Sea region. That's what the acronym BANOS stands for. It will go on for 48 months, and it has a budget of 12.5 million, of which 9 million are dedicated to the calls for application. So it is really a project that is devoted and dedicated to empowering communities on the ground. We are, as I say, a mix of different organizations from different countries, making sure that we try and reach out to as many people as possible to participate in our activities and also provide support in each of the countries through our national contact points. And we are in the Baltic and North Sea Lighthouse. I just wanted to share this slide from Mission Ocean because the reason why this project is focusing specifically on the Baltic and North Sea is because Mission Ocean is divided into 4 lighthouses, which are basically the kind of sites to test and demonstrate those actions that can contribute to Mission Ocean's objectives to be reached by 2030. And so we will focus on the Baltic and North Sea today. And what are these Mission Ocean objectives? So Mission Ocean, for those of you who don't know, started in 2021 and will go on until 2030. And it has very ambitious goals. One is to protect and restore marine and freshwater ecosystems and biodiversity. The second is to prevent and eliminate pollution from our oceans, seas, and waters. And the third is to make the sustainable blue economy carbon neutral and circular. Also, Mission Ocean now moved from its first phase, which was more of a piloting phase, into an upscaling phase. And so in order to support this upscaling, we really want to see a lot of actions deployed to basically support and reach the objectives that I've just talked about. And this is what really BlueActionBANOS intends to do. We want to really mobilize and empower diverse communities of stakeholders with support to implement innovative and high impact actions that contribute to the objectives of Mission Ocean. How are we going to do that? Maria will talk about this more in detail in a second, but we basically have 2 types of projects that we are funding and for which the calls for applications are open. One are community-led actions, which are action-oriented projects. Another line of funding are transition agendas. So this is more roadmaps and really strategic development endeavors to then create a change in one or more communities. And the very particular aspect of BlueActionBANOS is that we will not only fund projects, but also provide technical assistance and knowledge sharing to these projects. So the beneficiaries will not only get technical and administrative support in the project implementation, but also really content support in the project implementation. So this is all I had for you. I'm really happy to see that now, we were able to open the calls after just 3 months of the project having opened. And I leave it now to Maria to explain a bit more what these calls will be all about. Very happy to see you here and looking forward to receiving applications to our calls. Thank you very much, Maria, and back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Alberto, for this introduction. Yes, so let's move on to the details. What type of projects and activities are eligible for this financial support? So Alberto has already mentioned that we have 2 lines of funding, 2, let's say, pathways you can take, and the open calls right now are open for both of them. So community-led action projects, what kind of projects are we looking for? So we are looking for teams, in short, who have great ideas to make things happen. Of course, those things to happen, we would like them to contribute to Mission Ocean and Water's objectives. Not only we would like them, but they must contribute to Mission Ocean and Water's objectives. And as I said, those are team projects. So we are not looking for applications from individual entities, but from, let's say, consortia of between 2 and 12 entities. Those entities should be registered in BANOS countries. The financial support available is up to 2 million euro per one community-led action project, but one entity can receive up to 500,000 euros. And this is the basic information. The support program will last up to 24 months. So those projects who get funded, they will have 24 months to implement their great ideas within their local communities. Transition agendas are more about making the best possible roadmap, a strategic roadmap, like a plan for the future. And here we will accept applications from individual entities or teams of up to 3 entities. The funding available is up to 100,000 euro per one project, per one transition agenda project, and one entity under this program can receive up to 60,000 euros. And the selected projects will have 18 months to build their roadmap and to show its, let's say, maybe first steps of the implementation. So there are certain differences between those two programs. However, there are some basic rules which are common for both. So the projects must be focused and aligned with goals of mission Ocean and Waters. Applicants must be registered in BANOS countries. So those BANOS countries are Belgium, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Latvia, Lithuania, the Netherlands, Norway, Poland, and Sweden. If an applicant is registered in one of other countries not belonging to this BANOS area, they may also be eligible if this is justified. However, the impact of proposed projects must be within the BANOS area, right, for both community-led actions and transition agendas. And this is like an eligibility requirement. What type of entities can apply to our open calls? So here you can see a really short list. A longer list is available in open call terms and conditions. I will show you later on where to find all those documents. However, we are looking for applications from actors such as regional and local authorities, non-governmental organizations, foundations, professional associations, educational establishment, even locally based companies, research performing organizations. So any entities that are engaged in local development, nature conservation activities, and community projects. When it comes to communities which are relevant for those open calls, those are any communities connected with, let's say, water bodies. So ports, islands, fishing communities, aquaculture producers, operators of vessels, also local action groups, waterfront cities or regions, and so on and so on. And the list goes on. You can also check the full list in open call terms and conditions. But as I said, again, any communities connected with different bodies of waters, where the type of actors you can see here can implement their projects and benefit those communities, because this is the objective, to benefit local communities. Now, this is a very important piece of information because the open call terms and conditions contain like full closed list of activities that are eligible for financial support. There's a separate list for community-led actions. There's a separate list for transition agendas. in this slide here, you can see just some examples, but those lists are really long, and we are sure that your ideas can fit into one of those activities. However, please check the full list in open call terms and conditions. This is the first thing. And the second, please be aware that any idea you have, you present to us in the proposal, it must really fit within one of those activities. Okay, as Alberto has already mentioned, Blue Action Banos is not only about funding, it's not only about money we provide, but also about networking and collaboration, providing technical support, also looking at further financing opportunities, and also monitoring and evaluation. Because once a selected project joins the support program, during the support program, you will need to establish the KPIs. So you will need to establish what you want to do exactly in the project, what you want to reach, and then your progress throughout the project will be monitored and evaluated, and you will be provided with support also regarding this. Okay, I'm moving on now to the next point in our agenda. So what the application and selection process looks like. So as I said, today we want to give you like the most important, even technical information so that you are able to start the application process. And now we are going to focus on that. So first of all, the central point for all information about BlueActionBANOS project and open calls is the website, BlueActionBANOS website. So here you can see the QR code. You also have the link. As we said, after this webinar, you'll receive the recording and all the links. You can also, I guess if you click on the link now in the slide, it should also work for you. So as we go through all the information, you can already go to the website and check it. When you go to the landing page, you will see a menu at the top of the screen, and there is a section called funding and funding opportunities. If you go there, you will see two types of open calls. And when you click on either of them, you will be able to see, if you click here to one of those, you'll be able to go to sections which provide you with more information about each of those open calls. And a very important section is how to apply, because in this section, you will find all the open call documents. So you will find open call terms and conditions, which is like the basic guiding document for all applicants. You will find frequently asked questions document. It's a document that we will be updating throughout the open call with new questions received. You will also find templates of the forms you will have to complete online, but we provide them here for your reference. So you can also prepare, let's say, your application if needed offline based on those templates. So the website is the central point for any information you can find about the project. The application process consists of two steps. The first step is the compulsory submission of project idea form and individual consultation. And as you can see, the second step is submission of the full proposal. So what is project idea form? Please remember that you can find the templates on the website. So you can check what information we require in project idea form. Project idea form is a short and simple way of you letting us know what your idea for the project is, what budget you estimate for this project, and as I said, the general idea. This project idea form is not subject to any evaluation. However, it is compulsory. Based on your project idea form, we will contact you to schedule an individual per project, individual online consultation, where we will be able to discuss with you this idea. We will be able maybe to support you with some tips, some further ideas, maybe with some guidelines about who you should involve maybe as a partner if this is needed, and so on. So this is like an additional way to support you throughout the application process. Again, those consultations are not evaluated in any way. This is a way to support you. However, the consultation is again compulsory, right? And after you've had your consultation, you will be invited to submit full proposal. You can already check at this stage what kind of information is required in the full proposal. You can check it in the template. However, this is like a full, long, proper submission form where you will need to provide complete information about your project, about the idea, about the budget, about the team, the partners, and all possible information. And only this full proposal form will be evaluated, right? Only this full proposal form will be subject to independent evaluation, right? So the first step is necessary to submit the full proposal. And here you can see in red 2 deadlines in this slide. The first deadline is for submission of project idea form. This is 16th of March, right? And after this deadline, 16th of March, 17 hours, Brussels time, we will not accept any more project idea forms, right? So if you miss this deadline for community-led actions, there will be no other chance to apply, right? The second deadline is the 29th of May, 2026, 14 hours Brussels time, and this is the deadline for submitting full proposal. And again, if you miss this one for community-led actions, you will have no other chance to apply for this program. For transition agendas, if you miss this deadline, you will have another chance in about a year, because we are going to have the second open call for transition agendas. For community-led actions, no. However, we encourage you to start your application process and apply for either of those instruments within this open call. What does the selection process look like? So once you submit the project idea form, go through the consultation, you submit the full proposal by this deadline, you already know. So the first step we need to perform as the open call manager is checking the admissibility and eligibility criteria based on the information you put in the full proposal, based on the statement you include in the full proposal, and so on. Then all the proposals that fulfill those admissibility and eligibility criteria will go to independent individual evaluation. This is a process in which your proposal, each submitted proposal and eligible proposal, will be evaluated by 2 experts. One expert will be like an external expert independent of the consortium. The other expert will be an expert from within the BlueActionBANOS project. What's more, one of those experts will need to have knowledge about the topic of your proposal, and the other expert will need to have knowledge about the community, the region where you will wish to implement your project. After the independent evaluation process, all the proposals that are evaluated above the threshold, there's a certain threshold, so all the proposals evaluated above the threshold will be considered for funding. The BlueActionBANOS consortium has like an organizational body that is responsible for making all the decisions concerning funding. So which projects to fund. This body is called the selection committee. So after the independent evaluation is completed, the selection committee gathers and confirms together which projects are selected for funding for the community-led actions and for transition agendas programs. Once we know the selected lists of projects, another process starts. This process is like a due diligence of each project. So this is where we check in real whether you are eligible in terms of legal requirements, in terms of the statements you provided, and so on. So this due diligence process may take even up to 2 months. And after that, we sign with each project that successfully goes through this due diligence formal check process. We sign the subgrant agreement, and the support program will start around October, November next year, right? When it comes to the independent evaluation process, there is a lot more I could tell you about, but maybe not today. We'll have another webinar where we'll focus more about we focus more on evaluation criteria, the evaluation process, thresholds, points, and everything else. So please stay tuned and follow the information through the website and social media. However, today I wanted to give you like a general overview of the selection process. Also, you can see one step here, jury day. This step is optional. We may implement it or not, depending on how many proposals we receive. But if this step is implemented, it will be implemented only for community-led actions open call. All right, so I'm moving on to the next part, key requirements for successful applications. Okay, there are some really important things you should do before you start the application process. So the first thing would be to visit our website, BlueActionBANOS, and check all the information available in the section about funding, okay? This point is absolutely crucial. So read terms and conditions, read them carefully, check if all information is clear. And if you have any questions, you can send us an email to our help desk address. It's been established specifically to answer all the questions from applicants. So please feel free to reach out to us like anytime using this email address. But the second point, reading terms and conditions, is absolutely crucial. In the full proposal form, you need to, so when you submit your proposal, you will need to confirm that you have read terms and conditions for the open call. And this is our guiding document. It's like a guide for applicants, and like any questions you have, you will probably find answers to them in those documents, terms and conditions. If not, you know what to do. Okay. In order to apply, you will need to go to the link that you can see here in point number 1. This link is also available on our website. It's also available in terms and conditions, so you can easily find it. And this is the link to our submission platform, right? When you go to the link, you'll see a landing page. The landing page contains also all like basic information about both open calls. Then, of course, you select the program to which you want to apply. And then at the bottom of the landing page, you will see two black buttons. One of them will lead you to the project idea form for community-led actions, and the other one for transition agendas. If you don't have an account registered with this specific submission platform, then when you click one of those black buttons, the system will ask you to register an account. The process is rather intuitive, so there shouldn't be any problems with registering an account. And of course, if you experience any technical issues, please let us know via the help desk email. So you click the black button, you register an account, then you complete the project idea form and you submit the project idea form, right? So this is like this is the basic thing you need to do to start the application process. Once your project idea form is submitted, we see it in the system, and at some point we will contact you to schedule the individual consultation. But also please know that if this project idea form contains incomplete information, if this is submitted just to get a consultation and it doesn't contain all the information we need to have this consultation with you, then we may not contact you. So this project idea form is really short and simple, but please treat it seriously, because from the form we get the information we need to carry out the consultation with you. And in order to make it a real support process for applicants, we need the information, right? Okay, so moving on. The key requirements, okay? Both project idea and full proposal forms must be completed in English, right? So in the previous slide, I told you how to submit the project idea form and that we will contact you for consultation. Once you complete the consultation, you will get another invitation to full proposal form, right? So both of those forms must be completed in English. Both of them should contain complete, true, and up-to-date information. This is also very important. And a very simple rule for our open calls: if you don't submit project idea form, there will be no consultation, there will be no invitation to full proposal, there will be no evaluation, and there will be no funding. So submitting the project idea form is really a crucial step in our application process, although it is not evaluated. Now, please remember about the deadlines for both project idea form and full proposal form, okay? We also, every time we communicate the deadlines, we add the hours, and this is for a reason. The system will close at a given hour. So it is also important to remember about time differences, if there are any. So we always operate with Brussels time, just to make it super clear. But the deadline is the deadline, and the system will close and will not allow any more submissions after the given hour on a given day. Right? So those deadlines are very important. Another very important thing to remember about in your submissions are mission, ocean, and water goals, right? and impact in BANOS region. So this is a very important requirement for the projects we will be funding under Blue Action BANOS. They must contribute to mission, ocean, and water goals, and the impact of the project must be within BANOS region. Okay. Another key requirement is that we will not be able to accept proposals from entities which may be in a conflict of interest with any of the Blue Action BANOS partners. So, of course, if you think there may be a conflict of interest, we will ask you to let us know about that in the form. Okay, we will ask you to describe what the situation is, so what this conflict of interest may be. And based on the information provided, we will look into it on a case-by-case basis, right? But the general rule is that we can allow no conflict of interest. You can find the full description of what conflict of interest is and how we understand it. You can find it in the frequently asked questions documents for both community-led actions and transition agendas. And also, if you have any questions about it, you can send us an email. And also the information here is that before you submit the full proposal form, we will not investigate the conflict of interest in depth. We can only provide you with the general guidelines of what is conflict of interest and what is not. However, all the situations will be considered like more in depth during the formal check, this due diligence process. Another requirement is financial stability of the entities applying. So we cannot accept for funding any companies which are in financial difficulty. This is just a requirement to make sure that European public funds are not used to cover some company debts and so on. I guess this is understandable. Also, we have a requirement about intellectual property rights. So any project that is funded should have intellectual property rights to what they're like producing. It should be the original work. If there is no IP rights, then the project should have some kind of license agreement with the IP owner. But you will find it also the full description for that in the terms and conditions. Every funded project must have like rights to what they are generating in the project. And last but not least, and we prefer to mention it already now, is the gender equality plan. This is something you need to provide in the full proposal if you are a public organization, public educational organization, and so on. So, or public authority. So gender equality plan is a document where you like establish rules for your organization regarding gender equality. In the full proposal form, there is a question, do you have the gender equality plan, yes or no? And if yes, if you are a public organization, we will ask you to provide a link to gender equality plan, a link where this plan is published. So if you are a public organization and you don't have it published, you still have really a lot of time to publish such a document on your website or under any other publicly available link, because the deadline for full proposal submissions is in almost 6 months, right? So we prefer to mention it now. We don't want this point to deter any applicants, but if necessary, you really have a lot of time to check this checkbox, right? Okay, so these are the key requirements, and now like a short slide about next steps, like what you can do directly after this webinar to to proceed with your application. So first of all, you can follow us on LinkedIn because on our LinkedIn account we publish all the latest information about the website, the webinars, sorry, about the webinars, about any events and so on. So it's a very useful like source of information. You can register for the second webinar, which will take place next week, but on Tuesday. This will be a very interesting one because, as I said, today we are talking about like basic information, requirements, application process, and so on. However, in this webinar next week, 4 projects will be presented. The projects that actually could be very similar to what we understand and to what we are looking for as a community-led action or as a transition agenda. So we think it will be a very interesting webinar for those who are thinking about applying, just to see what kind of projects, real projects, we are looking for and the similarities to Blue Action Banners, right? Now, the third thing you can do is to join Blue Action Banners community on Blue Biomatch. Blue Biomatch is a platform for like stakeholders interested in anything connected with water, aquaculture, and so on and so forth. So please check Blue Biomatch platform and join Blue Action Banners community, because through this community, if you are looking, for example, for a partner for a community-led action, you might be able to find a partner through this community. Also, in this community, we publish all the latest information about webinars, events, and so on. So this is a good place to be. And the fourth step is to submit your project idea form. As you know already, the deadline is the 16th of March, but we strongly encourage you to submit it as soon as possible, because probably at the end of March, those submissions will pile up, and then it may not be as easy to schedule an individual consultation as it will be if you submit sooner. Also, just to inform you, all the consultations, even if you submit now, by the way, we already do have submissions. Even if you submit now, consultations will probably start sometime in January, after the Christmas break. But yeah, it's better to have it January, February than April, when probably the availability of slots will be a bit lower, right? So when we reach out to you to schedule a consultation, have a consultation with Blue Action Banners experts, and then after the consultation, submit your full proposal. As I said, after the consultation, you'll get an invitation to the full proposal form. The full proposal form is in the same system as the first short form. The system is the same. However, you will need to receive an invitation to know where to click to start working on your full proposal. And the deadline for the whole open call, so for submitting full proposal, is the 29th of May, 14 hours Brussels time. So if you have any questions, you can send them to our help desk email address, but I do believe we also have some questions already in the chat.
Yes, and actually one question is quite connected to this, is that somebody was asking that given all countries have partners in the project, what is your advice regarding who to contact for questions and advice, whether this help desk email or other national partners in the project?
I would say that the help desk email would be the first contact point, because we can then distribute the questions to the partners who will be best fit to answer the question. If if it's a more specific question than about the application process. But you can definitely write to our help desk email, and then we'll forward this to the right partner. Unless, of course, you are in touch with a specific organization, specific partners, you can also reach to them directly. No problem with that.
Nice. We have a lot of questions. One that was asked multiple times in the chat, but please prioritize the Q&A for the questions because it helps us a lot, is whether it would be possible for an Indian national to apply to these calls.
An Indian national and the entity, would there be the entity, like my question would be about where the entity is registered, right?
Yeah. So it would depend upon whether the organization, because it's an individual, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps
Yeah.
more information can be provided in the chat and we can address this later. In the meantime, we have a lot of questions in the Q&A section. I'm trying to go back. Thank you to all of the partners that also the BlueActionBANOS partners that tried to answer some of the questions. I think one of the first ones that came up that was not answered yet, it's whether it was possible to combine this funding with other funding sources, like national funding sources, to boost the impact of a restoration project.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Sylvia, before I answer that,
Yes,
I'll come back to the previous question because I saw the answer in the chat that the entity is registered in India. Then, unfortunately, you will not be eligible to participate in the open call, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, and coming back to your question, yes, it is possible to combine funding. However, for locally registered companies, so commercial companies, there is one reservation connected with national aid programs, right? So in general, it is possible, but for commercial companies, you will need to check whether this is aligned or not with your national funding programs, right?
Okay, so it would depend upon the alignment of the specific program.
Yes, and upon what kind of entity is the applicant.
Okay, excellent. One other person, Esther, has asked if it is possible to apply for both programs at the same time, both for a CLA and the TA.
I'd say it is possible to apply for both. However, it is not possible to participate in both, right? So it is possible to apply for both. It is, of course, possible to go through independent evaluation with both, if both submissions are eligible. Then you can see what the results of independent evaluation are. And if both of those projects get through independent evaluation, you'll have to choose which program you want to participate in. So it's possible to apply for both, but it's definitely not possible to participate in both.
Perfect. That's clear. We have another question from Eliza from Landing Aquaculture, who is asking what is the maximum funding per project? What is the funding rate for SMEs? And how many parties are needed, our partners are needed in the consortium? And are there any requirements for the composition, for example, academic as well as industrial partners?
Okay, thank you for this question. So let me go back to the slide where we have this explained. Okay, it's here. So the answer also depends on the line of funding and the program you would like to apply for. For community-led actions, we will accept applications only from team projects, so consortia, right? Consortia of minimum 2 and maximum 12 entities. However, there are no special requirements about composition of those consortia. There is one question in the full proposal form where we ask you about the rationale for the given composition, right? Because we want to know why you are applying as this specific team, as this specific consortium of different entities. But there are no like further requirements that there must be like a university, there must be a commercial company. No, we don't have this requirement. For the transition agendas, we accept applications from individual entities or again teams of up to 3 entities. Okay. Does that answer the
Perfect.
question? Yeah. And funding
Yes,
limits. Yes, funding.
exactly. Yes.
So you
Funding
can
rates,
also,
yes.
yeah. Okay. So you can also see it in the slide. So for community-led actions, the maximum grant amount is 2 million euro per project. But within this project, each partner cannot receive more than 500,000 euro. Okay. The funding rate is 100%. So we don't, those projects are funded, no, not co-funded by BlueActionBANOS, right? And for transition agendas, the maximum grant amount per project, so per one transition agenda is 100,000 euro, but per one entity, it's 60,000 euro. Yeah, 60,000 euro.
Okay, perfect. I think that this addresses this. And we have a similar question to what you asked before with regards to whether one project coordinator can submit 2 or more proposals for the transition agenda. I guess the answer would be the same as before.
For the transition agenda, like for one project, we don't really accept multiple submissions. For one program, okay? We don't accept multiple submissions. So if you submit more than one proposal for the same program, for example, you submit 3 proposals for transition agendas, we will only consider for further process, we will only consider with the submission with the date closest to the deadline. Right? So if you submit 3, we will only consider the last one you submitted. We will not look at the first 2. Okay? In one program. If you want to submit one for transition agenda, one for community-led actions, you can do that, but you will not participate in both for sure.
Okay, very clear. Then we have a question about whether a project coordinator can come from a governmental research institute.
Yes, the only requirement we have about the coordinator is that the coordinator is registered in one of the BANOS countries.
And we have a question in regards to that too, the geographical span. Johannes is asking whether Greenland and the Faroe Island are eligible locations.
We unfortunately don't have those countries listed as eligible geographies. But okay, Greenland. All right. Yeah.
Alberto also has the hand.
Let me
Maybe
double
can
check.
I maybe can I say something here? Hi, because I answer. So basically, I mean, our interventions and location should focus on the Baltic and North Sea area. There is a sister project called Blue Action Atlantic Arctic, which will fund exactly the same types of projects in this sea basin. So for Greenland, for example, and I would suggest that you check that one because yeah, that is really for the Atlantic and Arctic basin.
Okay, perfect. And we have a lot of questions, which we will try to get as much as possible here, but otherwise we'll make sure that answers will be included in our FAQ documents, as well as in other sources. So Karen is asking whether after submitting the project idea and having the consultations, if we get a chance to redesign our project idea if it doesn't quite fit, and whether we would still be invited to submit a full proposal.
Yes, absolutely. So this is exactly why we have this consultation step in between the project idea form and full proposal, because it may happen that you submit the project idea form for community-led action, but after the consultation, you decide that it's like a better case for transition agenda, or the other way around, or you can rebuild your idea like based on the consultation and the support you receive there, you can totally rebuild your idea. Absolutely yes. And absolutely yes, you will receive an invitation to full proposal form.
Perfect. Last question from the Q&A, and I'll quickly move to the chat. You mentioned that the funding rate is 100%. Are overhead costs funded too? Asked by Lorena.
Yeah, overhead costs are like eligible costs, and we apply the 25% rate of the personal and other costs. Yes. You can also find information about this in the terms and conditions in the annexes, I guess. Yes, in Annex 1, where we have the list of activities that qualify for financial support. So this very important annex, you'll also find information about eligible costs.
Perfect. Okay. Then in the chat, Sophie is asking whether there can be more than 12 project partners in a consortium, or if this can be solved by having a few partners being applicants, but having a wider set of project partners in the consortium.
Okay, sorry, Sylvia, could you read it once again?
Of course. Can there be more than 12 project partners in a consortium, or can it be solved by having a few partners being applicants, but having a wider set of project partners in the consortium?
Okay, so we cannot have more than 12 entities in one consortium. And yeah, this is the maximum number of entities we'll accept in one consortium, right? And the second part of the question, I'm not sure I understand it.
Yes, me neither. I think that it's kind of similar whether it would be possible to have them maybe not as project partners, but as perhaps associated partners. That's my guess, but maybe we can wait for a follow-up for this one. We have other ones that we can address in the meantime. There are two questions that I think are related. At the technological readiness level, or the societal readiness level scales, are there any preferred level ranges for successful proposals? I'm guessing this is for CLAs.
Yeah, thank you for this question. So we don't have any specific requirements for that. We are looking for projects that are somehow innovative, but yeah, the way we define innovation is very interesting, because we define it in our open calls in relation to the local community, to the region where the project will be implemented. All right. So basically, we are looking for projects that will make a change for the local communities, regions. All right. And this is how we define like innovation, bringing value and bringing a real change, a real shift, right? And Sylvia, I think I see the follow-up about the previous question. So can the project include more partners in the project while having 12 partners applying? So you can have 12 partners applying, and of course, a part of your project would be to make partnerships and to work with local actors. So this is like included in your community-led action to engage as many local actors as possible. However, those partnerships that you kind of cover under your project that is funded from BlueActionBANOS, it will not be funded. So if you think that you will need funds to work with those actors, local actors, you need to like factor them in when you prepare your budget estimation.
Perfect.
Okay?
Nice. And I think, yeah, sorry, Maria, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to finish that, but only those 12 partners, those 12 entities in the consortia would be funded directly from Blue Action Banks.
Okay. Perfectly clear. I think that we actually managed to answer almost all questions. We have only one final one left by Angelo. You mentioned that applicants shall consider no overlaps with objectives of the mission cities when drafting project ideas for the Blue Action BANOS call. Can you provide an example?
Well, I cannot provide an exact example, but an explanation is just there is a rule which says like that the same activity cannot be funded twice with public funds, right? It's a rule under Horizon Europe framework program. So it means that if you were funded from cities program for a certain activity, the same activity cannot be funded under Blue Action BANOS, right? So this is avoiding overlaps in practice, okay? So avoiding a situation where the same activity would be funded twice from public funds.
Perfect. And then I think that we got through, I mean, we're at the end of the webinar and we got through most of I believe all of the questions, but if we didn't manage to address your question, please do feel free to email the contact that Maria shared before. So we have like an email address that's specifically designed to basically to receive all of the questions. Maybe Maria, you can quickly navigate to that slide again?
Yes, of course. It's the last one, I guess. No.
Yes, it's here.
It's here. Yes, the help desk email is here in this last one. Yes. And I think in the chat, there were a couple of answers from our partners about the national contact points that you can reach out to. Yes.
Perfect. And I think that, yes, we're almost approaching the end of the session. We also want to mention that indeed also our partners have mentioned that there will be national webinars organized by our national contact points. Our national contact points, their contacts are also included on the BlueActionBANOS.eu website. So feel free to also use that resource as well. And we will also have a follow-up webinar as it's on this slide and as Maria mentioned before next week to talk more about the calls and potential ideas of what could be funded under these calls. And I'll leave it to you, Maria, to close.
Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, we are really very happy that we had a chance to present this, like, let's say, basic information during this first webinar to you. Thank you for all your questions. As Sylvia said, we will try to incorporate them also in the frequently asked questions documents. And we really recommend the webinar that is happening next week. So we would like to invite you to participate. Yes, and thank you so much. We'll follow up with more webinars and more information on our open calls. And please stay in touch whenever you have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bobby.